living in Hollywood was quite interesting. Well, I was not living exactly in Hollywood, but I used to spend a lot of time. And then Brooke, when Brooke and I started dating, she used to live in Hollywood in an apartment right behind the Chinese theater, and it was quite a place. So one day I go and I open the elevator, and I run into Superman. It was the Superman that was like taking pictures with a tourist. So anyway, it was very fun. Okay, page 81. I enjoyed very much living in Los Angeles. Okay, so let's connect with the breath again. Connecting with the breath is just bringing your attention to the experience of breathing. That's all it takes. And then staying with the breath is to just activating that motivation of keeping a certain degree of awareness of the breath as you just go about things. Seamless, unnameable. It returns to the realm of nothing. Form that includes all forms, image without an image, subtle, beyond all conception. Approach it and there's no beginning. Follow it and there's no end. You can't know it, but you can be it, at ease in your own life. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. I'm sure most of you know the Tao Te Ching. If you don't know, the Tao Te Ching is probably the foundational text of ancient Taoism, which was a spiritual tradition that developed in what nowadays is known China, but at the time it was not China. Okay, there were other kinds of kingdoms, so it was developed mostly on the south of China, in a part where the culture was extremely spiritual, and then the Han clan, the warriors, kind of took over, and we have more what we know today as China. But China has not always been like this. So this is, I encourage everybody, if you don't have to get a copy of the Tao Te Ching, it's 81 poems. It's extremely, extremely exquisite. I've been reading the Tao Te Ching now for 25 years. And it's so interesting how the more I read it, the more I say, wow, this is incredible. So seamless and nameable. Here, I mean, obviously I read translations. I don't read Chinese, and the Tao Te Ching was written in Old Chinese, which pretty much nobody reads Old Chinese. So, all we have is the translations. What I've done in the past, I have maybe 5 or 6 different copies. So I would get, I would read, the same poem or the same, verses in each of the translations and try to, make an average or what I like most. But so here, the key word here is seamless. Seams are, when you saw something, there's seams. Yeah, that's what it is. Am I correct? Or, yeah. So what happens to us is like, and this goes back to the moving from chores to fun, moving from, this experience of absolute reality into relative reality being so broken. So we have constant seams. Our experience is constantly broken, constantly divided, constantly compartmentalized, something like this, you say. So through the practice, wakeful means seamless. Okay? So it's an awareness, it's a state of being that is not fabricated in a way. It's not like, oh, wow, everything is super esoteric. No, it's not like that. It's an experience that it's steady. Like this experience of being, it's not choppy. It's not lost for, you do meditation practice and then you lose it for 3 days and then it comes back, and it's just seamless. Okay? Seamless within the day-to-day activities, seamless between wakeful to dream state, to sleep state, seamless between life and death state. Seamless is a state that is sustained. Is it too noisy? Can you hear the kids running upstairs? I'm so sorry. Let me yell at them. Is it too obnoxious? I don't know that it's going to work. So anyway, I muted so you don't hear me yelling at them. If you were not here, I'd be yelling at them big time.
Seamless. It's seamless.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. What were you saying, Gary?
It is seamless.
Oh, it's seamless. Good. I like that. Good. So this word seamless is really one of the fundamental instructions in meditation practice. Okay, thank you, Missy. If you can maintain this seamlessness, okay, that's really the seamlessness gives you this ability to make things unnameable, because to maintain the world as a dualistic thing, we constantly need to name things. Okay, oh, this is my cup, or this is my car, or that's your car, or this is you, this is mine. But when the mind becomes more open, more seamless, the need to constantly create categories, it diminishes. And therefore, you start being connected more to what is the last sense of the last sentence of here. It says, like, more connected to the essence of wisdom. The way humans establish knowledge is through creating categories, through creating indexes. You know, so exactly, you know, through breaking things down. Well, it's necessary, otherwise everything is the same. And of course, everything is not the same, but everything is of the nature of everything else. Okay. You know, we could just go on and on about this. It returns to the realm of nothing. So I use this here because even though it talks about the Tao, to me, it was talking about the breath, you know? So the breath comes to your body and then just goes, you know? And then comes back and then goes. So it returns to the realm of nothing. It returns to this realm of the subtleties, you know? It has this ability to connect this physical reality to this more subtle reality. Image without an image is the breath, but at the same time, it's nothing. You cannot really grasp it there. Okay. Approach it and there is no beginning. Follow it and there's no end. This relates to the practice of observing the narrow gates, the spaces. You observe the exhalation, and you can keep observing it, observing it, observing it, observing it, observing it. In the same way, you know, the border between Canada and here, you know, we are right next to Canada, so we have, you know, Sarnia or Narnia, or no, Sarnia, Narnia is the movie. And then we have Windsor, you know. So at which point really is Canada? And at which point is really the US? You can say, well, the border is there, yeah. But which is the atom, the single atom that is only Canada, or the single atom that is only the US, you know? So this is also here, like you approach it. Yeah, at some point, you know, they stamp your passport. Okay, from here is Canada. Okay. Analogies are never perfect, but you get the point. So you approach the breath. So the important thing is not where does the breath end or finish. The important thing is like you are fine-tuning your awareness. Like when we ring a bell, we know that the bell sounds and then it's quiet and then it's quiet, and at some point you cannot hear it, and at some point it keeps vibrating, we just cannot hear it. Okay? So this is very important. Approach it and there's no beginning. Follow it and there's no end when you're using the breath. And then in another aspect, where did the first breath come? Where did the last breath? The breath is just a seamless wave. Okay. So the idea of this is like when you approach the breath, you're riding the infinite. Here I said, surfing the awakened mind. You know, I never surfed, but I lived in Los Angeles a long time. I used to go see the surfers. Water was too cold for me. You can't know it. You can decipher what is the mystery of the breath. Like, is the divine breath. You know? We can talk endlessly about it, but then at some point, if you really want to understand it, if you want to glimpse it, if you want to experience it, you just have to be it, you know? And how? At ease in your own life. You want to experience the divine, you want to experience God. If you believe this, the other day somebody asked me, "Are you a Christian?" You know, somebody asked me at the office because you know, I have elephant statues in my office and I speak with a weird accent. You know, so this person, it was a sweet question, but are you a Christian? You know, so well, I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic, and the definition of being a Christian to me means loving one another. Yeah. So how you love one another? By being at ease in your own life. So you're at ease, and then you don't have agendas so much to push on others. So then there's harmony. So there's the divine breath, which is the awareness, you know, maintaining this wakefulness. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. Super Bowl Sunday. Just realize where you come from. This is the essence of wisdom. You want to realize where you come from? Just follow the breath. You know, they say follow the money. Yeah, people who are doing research of, you know, follow the money. So you want to realize where you come from, follow the breath. That's the essence of wisdom. After considering and practicing different aspects of breathing, we now go back to the beginning. Like a wave returns to the ocean after reaching the shore, we return to simply breathing in and out. So, you know, we do all these different practices, we break it down into all these things, and this is not just all these weeks, it's just within a single practice, you know. So you become methodical, and you know, it's necessary, you have an index, you have steps, you have, okay. So you organize the rational mind, you feed it, you observe things, yet at some point you just let everything go and just breathe. You just return to the simplicity of awareness of the breath. Knowing that the breath is the direct connection, awareness of the breath is the highest possible formula. And you know, I'm using, you know, many other teachers and you know, the Bible as a reference here. So you know, if it says it in the Bible, it must be true. Okay. It's the quickest way to access the divine and to access your divine nature. Because you're bringing your awareness, which is the divine itself, shrined in your physical body, into the breath, which is life itself as given by the divine. And this is why, you know, our teachers, the sacred scriptures, go through, you know, thousands of pages of volumes of hours of teaching of things, and then, you know, at the moment of bringing everything down to the most practical aspect and say, and now breathe. Okay. Letting go of any control, just experiencing that universal healing wave of life and awareness as your own being. Nothing to do, just letting the natural ability of your awareness, which is to be aware, rest on the feeling of the breath, which is natural. So you keep breathing, and I keep breathing, and explaining a little bit. At first, when we're introduced to the magic of conscious breathing, we are told that our breath is a living pulsation shared by all beings, a seamless wave coming and going across the magnificent ocean of life. Although this description of our breath may initially sound too abstract and grandiose, it plants in us a seed of sublime bliss. We feel compelled to grow by practicing the instructions we have received. I was reading the other day a book about writing. You know, one of my colleagues, you know, has written a book of actual writing on how to write stories, and I was checking it out, and he said, "Start your story with a hammer. Start your story with somebody that compels the attention of the reader, so they want to know what's next." Okay. So at the beginning, when we're introduced to the breath, you know, it has to be really presented as this immense, grandiose thing that is. You know, it's like, this is not a mechanical thing. It's not something that just keeps you alive. This is a living pulsation shared by all beings. You know, it's a seamless wave coming in and going across the magnificent ocean of life. You know, and obviously not for everybody, but if you have like a spiritual mind, or it's a wow, what is this? I need to know more about it. So then you're given some instructions, and there's this thing that, this is the beauty of scripture, and you know, this is not scripture. I wrote these paragraphs, but it's, you know, based on my understanding of some scripture. So in a sense, it's like almost like a little commentary. Okay, so it has that seed in it. So the beauty of scripture, the need of scripture, is to actually make you realize, oh, actually, this is my nature. This is deep inside of me. I know it's there. Even though I cannot experience it all the time, even though, you know, it's like, it doesn't resemble maybe anything of my life experience, this rings true. So then as we keep practicing, our breathing grows slower, grows longer. There was a question the other day, somebody was asking me, do you hold the breath? Well, there's some practices that is explained, you know, some of the practices we do hold the breath, but all the practices should lead to this state where you just bring in the awareness to the breath. And then because you're bringing the awareness to the breath, naturally the breath becomes longer, softer. You know, I remember when I was studying Chinese medicine, in one of the anatomy classes, you know, you study the respiratory system and these things. And after a few minutes talking about the respiratory system and the lungs and the, you know, the bronchial, all the whole, you know, bronchial, all these things, different types of cells, and, you know, I mean, yeah, those things I was learning and memorizing, and you have to, you know, to pass the exam. But what I noticed after a few minutes, how deeper my breath was, how much longer my breath was. And it was by directing the attention to the respiratory system, because we were talking about that. So this is the trick here. Like, you don't really need to force anything. Just bring the attention to the breath. But it's an honest attention. You bring the attention to a relationship that you have. It's an honest attention. You bring your attention to a project that you're doing, but it's not a chore anymore. You know, it's a sense of relishing. It's a sense of fun. It's a sense of exploration. And naturally that thing reveals itself. It may be a situation that externally seems like a problem, you know, because all this is part of your breathing. So but now you bring a loving, undivided, wakeful attention. Okay, what it is that is here? Okay, this looks like a problem, and you know, this is the pain in my butt. I have to do all these things now, and you know, I have to be done. It has to be done. What to do? Or it was not my plans. What to do? Okay, so that's one aspect. But now I look at this as I would look at my breath. What is here for me? And it's very possible that you burst into tears and you say, wow, this is exquisite. So we are not forcing the breath. We are not trying to do this or that. We're just bringing our attention to our breath. And because we are not forcing it, what happens naturally is that we are reclaiming our attention from distraction and being deliberate about it. People ask me, oh, I want to learn meditation. What do I have to do? So, well, just reclaim your attention back from distraction into whatever you want your attention to be. And that will create a platform where the attention and the mind soothe and relax. And then the next step is you explore. And that's what we call by deeper. There's a, you know, deeper is not like this. I mean, that's deeper in the sense of exchange. But as our breath becomes slower, it also becomes deeper. This happens naturally. And besides all the health-related benefits, this slower, deeper breathing is our scout, is the explorer. You know, I'm sure, you know, most of you have heard of this word Vipassana. Yeah, people do Vipassana retreats. You know, Vipassana means cultivating deep insight. First, before Vipassana, you do in the Tibetan tradition, it's called Shamatha, which is when the breath becomes slower and the mind stabilizes on it. And then this natural sense of clear wakefulness. Oh, I'm here. And now you can explore. So that's the scouting. Without a doubt, the seed of pure divine awareness pervades all states of being. But as breathing deepens and lengthens, our attachment to the physical body and world also softens. This goes back again to this sense of spaciousness. And we then start developing insight beyond what our 5 worldly senses perceive. The ear, the nose, the eyes, mouth, taste, touch, are very limited in the amount of information they can provide, because they can only provide worldly information, you know, and they are perfect for that, and that's what they are used for. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to breach that experience of just worldly life into more the divine life, we need to stabilize this scouting, this exploring, that happens when the mind rests in a slower, deeper breath. Then the mind becomes very grounded. And so there's a few words here that you could mark, like, we said seamless, we said unnameable, at ease, reclaiming, less reactive, like that we're I don't want to go over time, but so less reactive. People tell me, oh, but if you don't react, it's almost like you are not alive. So, well, there's so many ways of being alive as beings are. It's really a matter of if being so reactive eases things or makes things more complicated, connects you deeper to what you want to experience or takes you away. If you're reacting out of anger, out of fear, out of mistrust, out of jealousy, or you're just more grounded in this state of well-being, of joy, of bliss, of fun, and you can be fast. I'm talking slowly here because you can be running, you can be, chasing kids around or whatever it is, But are you being reactive? Or are you being seamless? You could be reactive and be seamless. Who knows? You can try. And the grounding is not just grounding in the present. So there's a grounding that happens in the present, which you feel grounded. So that's a natural sense of grounding. But because we can be deliberate creators of our experience, that's basically the foundational principle of Chinese medicine. Qi follows intention. So within that grounding, within that state of wakefulness, we choose, sense of joy. And then we choose to align this seamless wave with things that bring to us that kind of sense, that same of quality, either because the things are like that, or because within a situation, we choose to find and recognize those. I will read the dedication again for the sake of method, which is very important. Method is extremely important. By the merit of having practiced healing meditation for the benefit of myself and all other beings, may all beings without exception be well and happy. May there be peace in all lands, prosperity in all households, and joy in all hearts, across all time and space. And may all the motivation prayers made for the well-being of beings become a reality. And great gratitude to all our teachers, to all the great practitioners of all these traditions that enrich our lives so much, that point us towards the experience of this essence of wisdom of who we are. And may that profound awakened mind, the mind of loving kindness and compassion, be born wherever it is not born yet. Wherever it is born, may never decrease but continue to keep growing forevermore.